Well, here's one you may not have seen coming. President Trump says he will not interfere with the Justice Department's decision whether or not to share the results of the Mueller probe with the public. There have been rumblings in Washington that the special counsel could be wrapping up in mid-February, but they were also saying that last February. The president has often referred to these allegations of Russia and collusion as a hoax and a witch hunt, but his former advisor, Roger Stone, is now taking it several steps further.
I honestly believe that they are going to try to charge the president and the vice president with some hoked up frame of Russian collusion. That way they could make Nancy Pelosi president, she could make Hillary Clinton vice president, and then step aside. It's a nightmare, but I think that's what they have in mind.
Okay. It's not every day you get surprised by what Roger Stone says, but even like the QAnon fans were like, what? That's crazy. Of course, Stone was indicted last week on multiple charges of lying to the special counsel, lying to Congress, witness tampering. But did he tip his hand when he said he expects the president and Mike Pence to be charged along with him? Joining me now is Andrew McCarthy, former Assistant U.S. Attorney and Fox News contributor. All right, Andy, so look, I mean, this is sort of crackpot stuff from Roger Stone, who says all sorts of things all the time, and the Nixon V's and all of that. Why would he say something like that, and should we really be paying that close attention to his latest ideas?
Yeah, well, Guy, let me answer the second question first, because the first question requires me to read Roger's mind. That's really a sort of place I don't want to go.
Good luck.
So, no. No, I don't think we really should be paying it much mind. I think what we should frankly be saying is Mueller has now filed many charging instruments, including one against Stone, and he has yet to fabricate any collusion case. He has yet to make up a conspiracy case, not only between the president and Russia, but even between Roger Stone and anybody. I mean, Roger Stone, I think you could make a fair argument that he got caught up in a very politicized investigation. And, you know, had he not been caught up in this particular investigation, maybe he would never have been subpoenaed to testify before Congress, and he therefore would never have said some of the dopey things he said in his testimony. But he's not, even he is not being charged with a, you know, framed up, trumped up, if you will, collusion case. So why we should think anyone else would be is beyond me.
Right, I want to be clear that, you know, if you get subpoenaed and you appear before Congress, you should not lie to Congress. You should not tamper with witnesses and tell them to lie or not participate in an investigation. But you're drawing a distinction here between what he appears to be guilty of, and we'll see if that's proven, versus the bigger picture, which is the sort of the central core charge of the Mueller investigation. Let me ask you this, because you come at this from a very legal perspective. You were a prosecutor. Is there a distinction or a difference here to be made where perhaps Mueller doesn't find evidence of an actual chargeable crime when it comes to a criminal conspiracy, like hacking the DNC emails, but he finds enough smoke and evidence that collusion, a non-legal term, looks likely, and therefore it goes to the political question of whether that's impeachable? Do you think that's a possible outcome to this?
Well, that's why the Justice Department's role here is so important, Guy. And as you reported a couple of seconds ago, you know, apparently the president is saying that he's going to let the Justice Department work this out and how much of it gets public,
which is good. He should say that.
Good instinct on his. He should not only say it, he should do it. Right. But yes. But the reason this is so important is Mueller is a prosecutor. He's not the counsel to an impeachment committee. He's not a guy like Bob Woodward writing a book about whether he thinks the president is fit for office or not. The only thing a prosecutor has to decide is whether there's enough evidence to indict a case and bring it to a jury. Right. If there's not, the prosecutor is not there to answer every other interesting question or to weave together some kind of a potboiler that might make for some, you know, interesting political misconduct.
He has to decide whether there's a crime.
Afield from,
right. Whether you're going to charge a crime or not. Andy, we are out of time, but good stuff as always. Really appreciate it.